You know what's crazy? We've been taught our entire lives that success comes from listening to everyone. Your parents want your attention. Teachers demand it. Social media companies are literally programming algorithms to steal it. And now, in your late teens and 20s, you're drowning in notifications, opinions, criticism, and unsolicited advice. Everyone's got something to say about what you should be doing. But here's what nobody tells you. The most successful people aren't the best listeners, they're the best ignorers. I'm not talking about being rude. I'm not talking about ignoring genuine help from people who matter. I'm talking about a specific, almost forgotten skill that's become more valuable than anything you could possibly learn. And it's called the art of ignoring. Think about a radio for a second. If you tune the radio to pick up every single frequency at the same volume, what do you get? Static, pure noise. But the moment you dial into one specific station, everything else disappears, and you hear the signal crystal clear. Your brain works exactly the same way. Your attention is the tuning knob. Most people spend their lives frantically spinning that knob, trying to catch every frequency. Meanwhile, the people who actually build something meaningful, they locked on to one frequency and refuse to move. Here's something neuroscience discovered that most people never talk about. Your brain receives approximately 11 million pieces of information per second. 11 million! But your conscious mind can only process about 40 pieces of information per second. So every single moment of your life, your brain is filtering out 99.9999% of reality. It's literally deciding what you see and what you miss. You're not experiencing reality, you're experiencing what your brain decided was important enough to show you. This means ignoring isn't something you're bad at, you're already a master ignorer. The problem is you're ignoring the wrong things. You're ignoring your goals and listening to the noise instead. Let me tell you about Sarah. She's 22, started a creative business making design templates. Sarah was talented, really talented, but she had this habit. Every time she released something, she'd doom scroll through comments, some random person's opinion, some critic's feedback, some hater's negativity, and she'd spiral. She'd spend 3 days redesigning something that 99% of her audience loved because one person said it sucked. She was tuning into the noise and turning down the signal. One day she realized something simple but profound. The people criticizing her weren't paying her. The people whose opinions actually mattered were silent, just quietly buying her work and moving on. The noise was so loud it had completely drowned out the signal. So here's the framework that changed everything for her, and it's going to change everything for you too. First, identify your signal. What is the one thing you're actually building right now? For Sarah, it was growing a design business, not becoming perfect, not winning over haters, not getting validation from strangers. Building a design business. Write it down. Be specific. Your signal is not vague. It's not multiple things. It's one main thing and maybe one supporting thing. Steve Jobs did this famously. He said the signal was the next revolutionary product. Everything else, and I mean everything, was noise. Public opinion, competitor moves, even good ideas from his own team. If it didn't serve the signal, it didn't exist to him. Second, categorize the noise. Not all noise is created equal. There's noise that distracts you, and then there's noise that tries to disguise itself as signal. Here's what you need to know. Ask 3 questions. Is this information actionable? If someone gives you criticism but offers no solution and you can't do anything about it, it's noise. Is this information timely? If something could change by the time you actually use it, it's not your problem right now. Is this information from someone whose life looks like the life you want? If you're trying to build a business and taking life advice from someone who's never built anything, that's noise, my friend. I'm going to say something controversial. Your family's opinions, your friends' advice, even some of your mentors' suggestions might be noise. Not because they don't care about you, but because they're not the ones living your specific life with your specific goals. The signal always comes from the intersection of 2 things. 1, people who have actually succeeded in what you're trying to do, and 2, data from your own experience showing what works. Third, build your noise immunity. This is the lesser-known part that changes everything. See, ignoring is not passive. You don't just ignore something by doing nothing. Ignoring is an active skill. It requires what I'm going to call defensive attention. You have to actively choose what gets your focus. Here's how you do it. First, remove the source when possible. If Instagram is showing you stupid comparison content every time you scroll, delete the app. Don't flex your willpower, just remove the temptation. This is what all the most focused people do. They don't rely on discipline, they engineer their environment. Second, if you can't remove the source, create friction. Sarah didn't delete her comments, but she did turn off notifications. She checks comments once a week in a specific time block with a specific purpose. The friction between her and the noise created a barrier, and barriers work. Third, have your signal so loud in your head that the noise becomes almost inaudible. This is what most people miss. You don't ignore the noise by fighting it. You ignore it by amplifying the signal. Every single morning, Sarah would write one sentence. What am I building today? One sentence, just enough to lock her brain back into the frequency that matters. Your brain naturally gravitates to what you focus on. Make your signal so interesting and so clear that your brain ignores everything else automatically. Fourth, accept that ignoring has a cost. This is important. When you ignore the noise, sometimes the noise includes things that might actually be useful. Sometimes that criticism actually had a point. Sometimes that unsolicited advice came from someone who cares. You will occasionally ignore something you shouldn't have. That's not a failure. That's the trade-off. The cost of being focused is that you miss some things. And if you're going to miss things, it's better to miss noise than miss signal. Here's what most people don't understand about successful people. They're not smarter than you. They're not even more talented than you. They're just ruthless about what they pay attention to. Steve Jobs had people around him who would come up with good ideas, ideas that could make Apple money, and he would say no, not because the ideas were bad, but because they weren't the one thing. You're going to face pressure to be everything to everyone. Good daughter, good friend, good employee, good student, good influencer, good creative, good at gaming, good at this, good at that. It's impossible. And the moment you accept that it's impossible, everything changes. Because now you can make a conscious choice. What am I actually building? And the answer should be something that matters to you, not your parents, not your friends, not the internet. You. Sarah is still getting criticism. She's still getting unsolicited advice. She's still got haters commenting on her work. But something shifted. Now, when that noise comes, she has a filter. Is this serving my signal? No. Gone. Is this someone whose life I want to model? No. Gone. Is this actionable information from my target audience? Yes, I'll listen. That filter, that selective attention, that absolute refusal to be pulled in 1,000 directions, that's the art of ignoring. The real moral here is simple. Your attention is the most valuable asset you have, more valuable than your time, more valuable than your money, because you can earn money back, you can get time back, but attention, once it's gone to the noise, you don't get it back. So be insanely protective of it. And the most impressive thing you can do in your 20s is not to be impressive to everyone. It's to be obsessively focused on one thing and completely unbothered by everyone else. That's not arrogance, that's clarity. So this is your assignment. In the next 24 hours, identify your signal. What is the one main thing you're building right now? Write it down. Then look at where your attention is actually going, because I guarantee your attention is probably distributed across 10 different noise frequencies. Pick one thing, dial in, and watch what changes. If this resonated with you, if you're ready to stop being pulled by the noise and start being pulled by your own goals, subscribe, because the next video is going to show you the exact framework for saying no to everything that doesn't serve your signal. And that skill, that particular skill, is worth more than any degree you could get. Until then, stop listening to everyone and start ignoring like your future depends on it, because it does.